Today's video is all about Solidus AI Tech, the wave of the future. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, looking into the team, the tokenomics, the utility, and the overall value proposition, figuring out whether this project has what it takes to make it to our portfolio for the up-and-coming bull run. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. And the question is Solidus AI Tech a opportunity? Today we're going to be doing a deep dive. We're going to be looking to some of the details to make us fundamentally bullish. The question is, does this project have what it takes for us to be bullish on a fundamental level? We're going to use this website as our main platform to figure out whether it has what it takes. Some of the details we'll be looking at, you know, the overall team and the value proposition and anything that we may have. But what I also want to do is kind of critique the website to see if the website has a great way of distributing the information we need, and especially from a retail investment perspective. We're looking for mass adoption. I'm here to represent the retail investor, to see if it's easy and understandable, and it's you know, everything that we need for a retail investor. And at the end of the day, also to help the team figure out whether they need to update certain aspects of their package here, their overall you know, packaging of their product, in order to improve for mass adoption. Mass adoption is key here, guys, because we want the entire crypto space not only to look at AI tech, but newcomers to the space to be very, very comfortable. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at this in a bit of detail. We'll try to navigate through this website as best as we can. The website right now looks very engaging. It looks very interesting. As you can see, lots of graphics happening, but as you start interacting with it, it's not a typical website, guys. It's very it's like a slide deck type of thing. And as you scroll, you can see that there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of graphical, you know, flow, and it does look very techy and very you know, interesting. However, it's very distracting. It's very distracting. It's very hard to comprehend. And it's very difficult to kind of isolate the important aspects that we need to focus on. It's distracting. And as you keep on scrolling down, you'll notice that although there are important things being said here, it's very hard to kind of navigate where to put our focus. You can see that there's a problem, latency, security, cost. They provide the solution, I'm assuming. And as you continue going down, another problem, data center interconnection. They have fast and secure internet connection. As we scroll, they provide a AI and GPU marketplace, but there's a lot of, you know, action in the background, a lot of things happening here. I think, you know what, sometimes less is more, guys. Although it looks great, I appreciate the effort. I can imagine the amount of effort that it took, but I feel like it was overkill, and I think you're not getting what you paid for, in the sense that the amount of effort that you put in fact is not really working in your favor. AI platform, this is cool, but I already lost where I'm at as far as trying to figure out what this is about. Very distracting. All of this is not in a very simple way to understand. I don't even know where to begin reading. Government authorities, okay, again, we keep on scrolling, vulnerability monitoring platform, security, and then, okay, so now we got a few tabs here that we got to monitor here, because as we scroll, we have the founders. Guys, I'm going to get into details on all of this in a second. I'm just kind of scraping through the website. I don't feel very comfortable using the website as my main platform here, because it's just all over the place. I feel a little bit, if I scroll in the wrong place, look at that, what happens if I have to literally keep my mouse right over this to scroll through. It's fine. It's just a little bit too cumbersome. Okay, so I looked into the team. I got lots to say about this whole group of individuals here, and we have partners. Yeah, and then as we keep on scrolling, we go to the partners, guys. I just want to spend a moment here talking about the partners. You know, I do critique. I'm very critical on teams that create websites that put partners as a very open blanket statement. It's quite deceiving. Okay, an exchange listing is not a partner. Okay, it's not a partner. So what happens is that exchange projects get listed on exchanges in various ways. Either they pay to get listed on, they pay a big fee, and they provide liquidity, or they get basically approached by some of these exchanges because they want to have access. There's demand, right? So they want to have the token listed. Now, what I'm saying here is that literally there's no strategic partnership really happening here other than Solid is providing liquidity to the market via these outlets. Okay, that's all it really is. It's a good thing, but it's a relationship that is not a partnership. Really, KuCoin and Solidus don't really have a relationship where one can't exist without the other, and in fact it's not a scenario where it's detrimental for their business type of thing. Solidus can go completely decentralized and still do very, very well. So we got to understand what this really means. They're just exchanges. They're great. It's great to see the liquidity here, no doubt, but it's not a strategic partnership. And the same goes here with the launch pads, right? Launch pads, is Solidus, was it listed on these launch pads? Are there what's the relationship here? And technically speaking, this is not a strategic partnership. Now we get to places where it's partners and backers. Again, a lot of logos here. And as I'm looking through these logos, I have to be very critical. I see Tectum. I don't see how Tectum is a partner. I would like to know more. If you click on the logo, it takes you to the Tectum website, and I would like, it would be very in the favor of the Solidus team to take this list and make it very clear which partners are strategic, which ones are actually bringing value and scaffolding Solidus to the next level from a fundamental scenario. If you look at this list, I can name a few. Crypto Banter is not a partner. They may have some sort of relationship where there's sponsored videos or something like that. Who knows what kind of thing they got going on, but they're not a partner. So if you keep on looking, like Carbon, the browser, how are they a partner? What exactly are they doing to help each other out other than maybe cross promotion? Cross promotion is a great partnership, no doubt, but it's not very a strategic one for the most part. And it could also be, but I want to know more, right? If you keep on looking at all this, there's just way too much. Like Binance Smart Chain, BNB, is that a part? Are they partnered with the chain that they're listed on or that they use? I don't see that as a partnership. I can release a token on Binance, on the Binance chain. It doesn't mean that they're partnered with me. So I really want this to be something that a lot of projects, not just Solidus, a lot of these projects need to go and really, be selective as to which logos they're going to present to the market, to the retail market, so that we can have some confidence in which ones are valuable and important. Because it's almost like the story of Crying Wolf. When you show us too much and you start looking at them, you kind of dilute the value of the ones that are actually great and important and actually could provide some good fundamentals to the team, to the project, and to the validity of the project and the future of the project. Okay, so this is important. I'm sure some of these are great. I'm not willing to dig through all of them because I can see already that some of them are not very strategic, like Crypto Rank. Not really. I don't see it. And if you keep on Nvidia, imagine the Inception program could be good, and I can put some validity on there if that's the case. But more than that, I thought I also saw the Nvidia logo again somewhere around here, and then it starts to tell me, is Nvidia a partner, or are they backed by Nvidia? Like, I would like to know more detail, but unfortunately there's nothing here. Let's keep on moving down. As you see, they're featured on some social outlets or some media outlets. A lot of the times these media outlets, you can buy space. Like, they could be paid promotions on these spaces. Writers can be paid and so on and so forth. This is great promotion. So let's talk about this as, again, it's not a partner. It's under the partner tab, but these are not partners. They're not partnered with these outlets on Forbes and so on. They're just, they've been mentioned on these platforms, which is very healthy for marketing and attracting and the retail market and getting some of the information out there, which is great. I think this whole page needs to be revamped, and I think this title needs to be redone. And I'm putting a lot of pressure when I do my deep dives on these projects, because this could be deceiving to the retail market. I get these questions all the time on my own community, basically saying that the teams are partnered with, of Nvidia. Look, Nvidia logo, but there's no partnership really there. RocketX or Tron, there's no partnership here. So this is what we really want to know, is how are they partnered? If they are, let us know so that we can get fundamentally bullish at a next level. Okay, so there's Surtech and Hacken certified, which is obviously a great thing. We want to make sure those contracts are at par, and that's a good thing. Still, do your research, guys. Not bad. The roadmap, we get into the roadmap. It doesn't work. Something's wrong with the website. You know, this website really needs a whole revamp, in my opinion. We're done looking through the website. At the end of the day, I'm going to start looking at the white papers because it's a lot more clear. This website needs a total redo. The website is too distracting, and it's not friendly for all devices. Different screen sizes and all different devices. It doesn't load, and the roadmap is not accessible. Less is more, guys. Keep it simple. And then the white paper is where we're at right now. So let's go back. Let's keep this open, and we'll jump onto the white paper in a new tab. Let's go right into it. We see that the white paper has a lot of categories here, which is really good. We got the different aspects here, the introduction, the vision. So it's a smart contract on Binance, a Binance BNB contract, which is, you know, fine, all good. It's a great chain to be listed on. Gas fees are cheap and all that good stuff. What I want to highlight is the importance of this statement right here: state-of-the-art high performance computing facility that they have. It's 8,000 square feet. Okay, just keep in mind that when you read this sentence, it sounds very centralized. And as we keep on going through this white paper, you'll see that ultimately the overall infrastructure of this project is very centralized. Now, I know there's going to be a counterpart to say, well, we have a DAO that governs the decentralization aspect of things, but we have to be clear about exactly what this means. Okay, let's keep on going down. So it's a gateway for accessing services in artificial intelligence and GPU marketplace. Okay, so not bad. Okay, so they have in addition to facilitating token payments, Solidus offers convenience of accepting traditional payment methods, the conversion of fiat currency, and I'm sure they want KYC because of this. And again, we'll confirm that as we go through the white paper. As an integral component of the deflationary token economy, a certain percentage yet to be determined of the AI token utilized for acquiring services basically will be burned. Okay, so that's great. That's good. We have a deflationary aspect of things, which is good. And we'll keep on going. You can dive into the past and kind of dig around of the past and revenue streams. The Launchpad, GPU marketplace. So you can see that they're trying to be profitable from the get-go. Guys, this is important. This is important because they want to have revenue. You want revenue here. So this is what they want. The marketplace, of course, artificial intelligence as a service and blockchain as a service, and the GPU marketplace and the Launchpad. So all good stuff. And the AI token utility. Basically, you can participate in launches of new projects, accessing services on the marketplace, rewards on popular applications in the marketplace, reward for locking up, and DAO governance. Guys, these are important utilities, the utility behind the token. What is the token for and how is it used? And in short, it's this right here. Okay, check it out. Good stuff there, nice and clear. I like that. I like things when things are clear because there's no ambiguity. And from a retail investor perspective, when there's ambiguity, you have doubt. And when there's doubt, your position size gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It's all about risk management. So this is good that we get this clarity. To fulfill this mission, they have constructed an eco-friendly HPC data center spanning 8,000 square feet in Bucharest, with plans to establish additional data centers across the globe in the near future. So at the current moment, this is where I'm seeing this. You know, it looks like they have a data center that is in full control of the team, and perhaps backed or governed by the DAO. We'll talk about it in a second, but still, there's a data center that is completely in their control at the current moment. What else do we have here? They want to focus on a couple of industries, a couple of scenarios. So the landscape, basically, computing power is paramount for governmental authorities, which guys, I'm on the fence about, but no doubt, definitely governments could be using blockchain services, corporations, professionals, Web3 and blockchain companies, and so on and so forth. So good stuff there. They realize that that where they could fit in and they could monetize and become profitable is in those industries. That's good. We strive to develop truly efficient data centers capable of meeting the global marketplace. So look, with efficiency and centralization is very, very, it's thought as the best way to do it. When you're centralized, you're efficient in many ways, not only operations, but also cost. You can have the ability to negotiate at a different level. The economies of scale. So if you have the ability to buy a ton of GPUs, you have a lot of bargaining power. You can go in there and negotiate for better prices on GPUs or even real estate or any type of, anything that you're really looking for to run the operation. Because you buy in a lot of it, you can definitely negotiate for a better price. I get it. And of course, under one roof, there's a lot of control and probably high quality, basically, to make sure the quality is very high, having one central organization basically looking over it, it may ensure that it sustains that quality. But there are drawbacks of centralization, and this is what the crypto space is trying to basically enlighten, is the fact that decentralization in fact has better characteristics. This is how DePIN comes into play, and I would have liked this to be a DePIN project, of course, but it's not, right? It's a DePIN is decentralized process, decentralized computing, in that case, infrastructure. But in this case, it's the opposite. They're very centralized. It sounds like a very Web 2 type of project here, in the sense that AWS and Google and all these other servers, they're very similar, right? They're under one roof, under one organization, and managed by one individual, one organization. So something to consider is that there's one choke point here, right? Although it's beneficial from an efficiency perspective, yes, it's cost effective because of that as well, and the cost effectiveness usually gets translated into a cost effectiveness for the end user. I get it, but ultimately the cost of the risk taking of being a very centralized organization is much higher. Right, so this is the risk of getting involved in a central organization is much higher, considering that there's a lot of decentralized projects out there. The competition is between now centralized and decentralized infrastructures, and right here they chose centralization. So do your due diligence, guys. Look into it. I think it's a viable conversation. And it's something that we need to consider. So the infrastructure provided by Solidus AI Tech is highly versatile and purposefully designed to cater to governmental authorities, corporations, again, the Web3 blockchain and companies. Our program establishes peer-to-peer network among computers, and administrators, users to access computing resources of users. Okay, that's a bit confusing, but totally fine. I get it. I get the point. These innovative tools empower users to complete tasks requiring various amounts of computing time and capacity, in contrast to the centralization cloud vendors that currently dominate the market. This is where things get gets a little bit confusing, because I don't see how there's a difference. What's decentralized in this whole thing that I see is the token itself. I get it. And the fact that they have a DAO, but the infrastructure that they have in itself, having one data center, is centralized. So I don't see the difference. Maybe it's the wording, maybe it's the way they're framing it, but I would highly consider making this a lot more clear. And if you keep on going, you can see that the vision implementing deep learning solutions with this computing, these are industries or applications that they can get into using this HPC, which is high performance computing, right? That's one of the value propositions that they offer, right? So, and of course, these are all the type of deep learning, geospatial visualizations, image processing, voice processing, electromagnetic signals, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different genres or domains that they could get involved in with regards to the HPC computing. So good stuff, not bad. Now the ecosystem. Here I can see that the ecosystem is split up in three parts: computing resources, software and AI services providers, which is fine, and government enterprise and blockchain solutions. So three different levels, but when you get into the actual document here, there's a lot of little subcategories. So you have artificial intelligence marketplace, which essentially allows devs to create their own AI solutions and put them for sale. So individuals that are looking for a solution can go there and buy. So there's a marketplace there. And what they're going to be using to buy and sell is AI Tech. Of course, that's the main utility. That's why they have a token, which is it's a decentralized token to leverage the capabilities of Solidus AI Tech ecosystem. Individuals and businesses need to utilize AI Tech, the utility token that fuels the platform. Okay, so that's it. So they can trade on multiple exchanges, participate in staking and farming activities, and enjoying voting rights in the DAO. That's something that we already talked about previous. AI service providers, again, AI as a service, basically leverage from a range of revolutionary AI applications. And if you keep on going, the government can get all in. Governments can get all in on this. Basically, tailored for the public sector. And there's a bit more detail to come about that. And then the DAO and the governance of the DAO. Okay, so that's that. You can see you can get in a bit more detail through all of these categories, and they're self-explanatory. Like you can get into a lot of this, the GPU marketplace for AI and gaming, self-driving cars. And so you can basically, when the marketplace goes live, government authorities and all these types of individuals basically have services that they can use and lease basically computing power from AI Tech using the token. So good stuff. And one category is this one, the government side of things. Yes, we always associate government as an identity that shouldn't really get into the blockchain space, but the reality is there's a lot of benefits that they could have from it. So, for example, asset management. I like the voting and taxation, for example, where, especially with the voting, we want transparency, immutability, and all that stuff. So it's not bad, no doubt, but for some reason the crypto space has always said this is not a space for government. Now I don't know if this is blockchain could be a technology that can be used for everybody, right, for any institutional application. So I think that regardless, it's going to end up happening because there's definitely merit here, and we can already see that it's being politicized in this way. So good stuff there, not bad. Now the roadmap, one that I couldn't get access to on the website, unfortunately. We do have a roadmap for 2024. They have a few things already done and some in the works. We do see that there's the building of the community is done. I don't think so. That should be a work in progress forever and ever. I don't think they're ever done building community. Community needs to be built constantly, and it's one of the most challenging things, and then that definitely is the thing that will drive this project to higher levels. It's community. Everything is about community, given the fact that the fundamentals in the tech is good. Exchange listings, I think they got that down pat. They're on pretty much on almost all exchanges. I think they're not on the major top two, but they're definitely on all the other ones, so that's good stuff. The only thing that I can say here is that I wish there was more specifics as far as time frame. I think years are not enough. I think we at least give us the quarterly breakdown, to give us an idea of where some of the efforts are being placed in the immediate short term, so we know where the resources are going. We know what type of updates are going to be coming and rolling out soon. Now I know and I understand the issue behind providing such details is because the software industry is not as clear, right? Sometimes you're ready to launch, sometimes there's mishaps and there's things that need to be fixed and upgraded, or there's patched up and so on, and things don't really work out as perfectly as one may expect. So I do understand the volatility that comes in when, let's say, a team says, look, we got to push the rollout or the update or this or that, we got to push it for a little while because we're not ready. Price tanks. And that's an unfortunate thing because the market doesn't understand industry. The market only understands, green and up to the right, or, that's all they really understand. If it's going up to the right, it's because of some sort of bullish catalyst. And if it doesn't happen, they get salty and things come down. They don't understand the industry, which is understandable. The retail market doesn't have to understand what happens in the back end. But nonetheless, I think that a little bit more detail here would be good. Give us quarterly at least, and that would be not bad, at least that we can assess forward what they're implementing. Now you can see that pre-launch, post-launch, there's a lot of stuff here from 2023. Everything was accomplished, and on both timeframes, the 2024 and 2023, they have a very, very clear disclaimers. Basically, estimations. They're based on estimations. We get it. Now, is it a sign of weakness or is it a sign of ambiguities? But like I always said, like I just said, guys, in tech, it's their estimations. We have to understand that, and disclaimer is valid. I get it. just to make people aware of the reality of this industry. As a software developer myself, I understand this completely. Okay, so market overview. Let's see what's going on here. What they're basically doing is trying to make it clear that this market is has a problem, and there's problems politically, but there's problems across the industry as far as computing power, and they provide the solution by creating this infrastructure based in Bucharest. Okay, again, something that they can see. You can see that they're a very centralized type of infrastructure at the current moment, unfortunately. Yeah, let's continue. Artificial intelligence, we got a few tabs here. Let's see the marketplace, which I think is going to be interesting. So again, the marketplace, democratization of AI. This is interesting because again, individuals get to come on this infrastructure and build their AI projects and have them released for the industry, and basically buying and selling AI software packages. Developers have a marketplace to actually monetize some of their efforts, which is good. So here we are, here as we stand today, demand for computing resources in the AI industry. Guys, we know that at the end of the day, the computational power right now for GPUs, the shortage of that power is one of the issues that we have, definitely. And the fact is that AITECH was able to figure that out and provide a solution to this problem. And the only way to really do it at this current moment is get into a infrastructure that maximizes the efficiency. So this is what their value proposition is. Monetization for developers. I like this. Easy and affordable access. Great stuff there. Quality assurance and compliance and growth and support. So marketplace is a place where devs can go and deploy AI projects, and this is what they're going to get out of it. The opportunity to monetize is quite interesting, given the fact that this is a space that is up and coming. Of course, there's a lot happening there, and devs want to get involved. But if they can get into a marketplace that gives them the support, that's really, really good. How a marketplace will be structured: open source models, plug in API-based solutions, and standalone solutions. So there's going to be a lot of different AI solutions, guys. If you're more interested in that, go check it out. But it entails renting or leasing GPU power, pre-deployed AI models, and so on and so forth. So good stuff. Again, the marketplace is going to be a one-stop shop for your AI solutions. If you're looking to sell or buy an AI solution, they will have a third-party marketplace for that to happen, which is good. Developers, marketplace for developers. Again, monetization opportunities, intellectual property protection, access to broad audience. Again, this is important because the marketing efforts from a dev is going to be a lot harder than if it was from a whole marketplace. Think about how other marketplaces work for the retail space. It's like how Amazon works. At the end of the day, an individual seller doesn't have to deal with marketing, whereas because Amazon will take care of it all. In this case, AITECH will have their marketing efforts to help support some of these developers, which is good. I truly believe in the ecosystem growth here. This is where I think is more important, because as the ecosystem grows, as developers are being supported, and I would like to see how their token distribution is allocated for developers, because they should be investing in trying to help developers deploy the best applications possible, because that way their ecosystem will grow. And if there's ecosystem growth, like I always say, there's more utility for the token, and by default, the token's value should go up, because utility is what's going to give that demand. People are going to want it for its use case. And this is a great place to really understand investing in the back end of your infrastructure is more important. It's all about the devs, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the GPU marketplace, centralized management. This is again that word. I'm surprised to see that word, centralized management, in a a decentralized field of cryptocurrency, blockchain technologies. We're talking about centralized management. Is this a good thing? Cybersecurity, server health, data privacy, and protection will be managed centrally. Is that a good thing? I don't, is that sounds like Web 2 to me, guys. Again, trying to be as honest as possible. I'm trying to make it clear for the retail market. Again, if there's something that I'm misunderstanding by that statement, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But that is not a statement that I expect in a blockchain solution. Okay, adhering to global standards. Again, what is that? Who defines these global standards? I think we're really trying to decentralize even the definition of the standards that are currently put in place by non-elected individuals, if you get where I'm going at. So we want to really understand here what centralized management means, because I think the space in general is going in the opposite direction. Ease of setup and access, reliability. Okay, sure. Enhancing performance by efficiency. Again, the economies of scale and being under one roof and one in a centralized authority. Yes, there's lots of efficiency and performance enhancement capabilities, but that centralized choke point has a lot of negative as well. And we have already addressed these negative aspects in our current life. And yes, maybe it's a lot more efficient, but guys, sometimes you get what you pay for. And if you are getting things really at a great price, who is really the product? In this case, we are the product, and we were definitely trying to scale away from that scenario. Cost efficient effectiveness, we talked about that. Again, the economies of scale, the ability to acquire products and services at a cheaper price. I get it. And then give the customers the discounts based on that ability to negotiate better prices. But again, in a centralized scenario, that sometimes doesn't work out, guys. You get where I'm going with it. Let's just move on. Simplified access and integration, support for a range of applications, a lot of good eco-friendly data center. Again, going live in July, 8,000 square feet in Bucharest, Romania. Again, we're talking geopolitical things as well. We got to consider that as well. Centralizing your data center in one place in itself is an issue. It is. This is why DPIN is doing so well lately, is because you can decentralize all of this risk put in under one roof. Commitment to providing high quality. So they have to commit, and we have to rely on their commitment, their ongoing commitment to provide high quality, affordable HPC power. Right? That's what we have to do. We have to commit. We have to rely on their commitment. And if they stop committing for whatever reason or whatever happens, in any case, there's a bit of an issue. It is set to revolutionize the high performance landscape. Good stuff. Read that in more detail if you feel. Again, energy efficiency, eco-friendly, cost reduction, pass to customers. Guys, this is exactly what I meant. I almost premeditated this. I understand, but guys, I think that we need to move on from this concept. We don't want a cost reduction, because usually in this case, what do we actually lose? What do we actually lose in this cost reduction? We lose decentralization. At the cost of decentralization, we get cost reduction. So I'm not crazy about it. Strategic European location. Again, locations don't matter. This is still centralized in one place of the world, in Romania. I don't know. And security. I'm going to show you something else that I want to show you guys. The data center section right here. So we have to rely on a lot of this. Basically, look what they make it sound even very centralized, more than expected, in the sense that we have to rely on the ventilation, the drainage, the ceiling, the maintenance, the architectural work, the landscape. They're trying to convince us that their infrastructure can be trusted. This is what it is. Now, it can be, AWS and Google and so many other data centers do this, and they've been doing it great for a good period of time, but we are definitely in the mercy of them maintaining it. And this is something that we have to agree on. If you agree that this is the greatest way to get, deploy a project in a very centralized way, that's fine. Electric network, one central electric flow of electricity, data network, fire protection system, ventilation, cooling, and impact, HPC, there's a lot happening here. Okay, a lot happening here. Again, they do it again. More sustainability, intellectual properties are good things. Security, if you want to know about the physical security, they have HVAC systems and secure physical locations, human background checks for people that are involved, access control, biometric, sounds like a James Bond movie, CCTV systems with heat detection. So we have to rely on all of these centralized measures to keep security, and that's a bit of an issue. Okay, for me personally, as an investor, as a retail investor, I would think of this as something to really understand and be aware of. Okay, that's all it is. And sustainability and all of this, I think this narrative kind of simmered away a little bit here. In order for speculative technologies to become efficient, there has to be a little bit of inefficiency. That's the reality. Everything becomes it starts off as very inefficient, and slowly we get efficient. And I think what we're still doing is trying to be make this tech solid and concrete before we can focus on green computing. It's already very green. This is a good thing, though. I do see that they have this here, which is solid. If you're interested, go right ahead and read this in a bit more detail. And then you have things about the token itself, the token, the benefits behind the token. We talked about it a little bit, but again, staking, DAO governance, the burning program, and the lockup, and all of that allows you to benefit by, this is what you could do with the token, its utility, and so on. Token distribution, unfortunately, this doesn't do it justice. Okay, we're going to look at what this says here. So the investment required for the completion of the data center. Okay, this is important. With support requiring a lean business operation, marketing, and community building necessitates a total investment of almost $7 million. Okay, $7 million investment to get this thing going. The amount serves as our soft cap, representing the minimum required funding for interior installations and getting the overall data center going. So you can see they're raising capital from potential VCs and who knows where. Okay, they're raising capital to basically invest and buy this warehouse so they can get the data center going. To facilitate the expansion of our operations, they have planned to raise more money, $42.8 million, through equity sales. So basically selling equity subsequent to our listing event. So after the listing, they're going to try to raise more capital. These funds will primarily be allocated towards the acquisition of additional servers, so becoming a bigger network of data centers, which will signify and enhance our relevant generation capabilities. Guys, scaling up in this way, in my opinion, is a little bit counterintuitive as far as Web3 goes, but that's the name of the game. That's what they decided to do. Subject to KYC, guys, that's something that I'm not really keen on. I don't like KYC. Know your customer essentially means that there's a possibility that you become the product, right? Why do you need to know? Is there a need to know me? As far as exchanges, sometimes I know they take on different currencies, and this may be one of the reasons why they need to be KYC'd. But guys, I don't know what the landscape is in the future, but I think know your customer is something that's we're gonna need to have to fight back on. There's no need for KYC in this day and age. I think I need to be able to control my own identity and be anonymous if I want to, and have my privacy. That's how I feel. Of course, do your own thing. A lot of these metrics here are a little bit awkward in the sense that what is tokens being sold even mean? Total supply is equal to max supply. Token sales stages, okay, and accepted currencies. So these are the currencies they accept, and that's why I think they need KYC, is because ultimately they're going to have some exchange capabilities there on board within the ecosystem. So we're going to talk about tokenomics a little bit more. Look at the pre-sale, the public sale starting price, but there was a pre-sale, and some other early investors probably got a massive discount. So something to get aware of. Growth initiative, marketing incubation, launch pads, burning strategy. We talked about that they're going to burn based on almost like a tax rate for every transaction, a certain portion, which is yet to be announced, apparently, according to this white paper. So we're going to stay tuned for that. And then down the governance, obviously, the more tokens you hold in the pool, in the staking pool, the more voting you have ultimately, which is good. Now, before diving into the specifics, what exactly do they get here? Comprised of collecting guides in the future, ethos, exclusive boardrooms, communities, okay, so governance, voting system. So this is where they're probably going to start to say, you know what, I know that we have a centralized, interface or architecture as far as the back end goes with the data center. Well, you know what, we're going to decentralize its governance through a DAO. I get it, but then tokenomics come into play, because the DAO, based on how many you hold, will give you the voting privileges. Now, in early stages of a project, unless it's a fair launch, the reality is that the team and the early investors, the early stakeholders, they hold a lot of the tokens. So that's something to consider. Okay, so we'll touch upon that in a second. We'll look at the tokenomics in a second, and they got a lot of other links here for socials. Other white papers in Mandarin and other things like that, Surtech and so on and so forth. Good stuff there. Okay, so we'll talk about a lot of these other things in a second, because we're doing good. Okay, so let's jump right into the tokenomics, because this is going to be an interesting one, because really a lot of it ties back into the fact is that the tokenomics and the things that we just read kind of marry up together, especially with the DAO. And in addition, what I would like to say is this information would be very, very useful on the website. I couldn't find this on the website, I had to get it on, I think it was Telegram, which it's fine. But when you have a website, you want everything laid out easily for, again, the retail investor to do their own research, to walk away after a website, to walk away happy and confident and basically transparent and feel good about, getting involved in an ecosystem. Not that you have to dig around. If it's not easy accessible, that means there's resistance, there's friction. And as a company that wants to onboard as many people as possible and gain as the confidence of the retail investor, make it frictionless. Do your best to make it frictionless. So this is something that we got to go through. Okay, the tokenomics. So we can see that there's a different categories of distribution. Okay, we have, let's read this for a second. Token generation at the TGE event, which usually the token's listing date on exchange, not necessarily. Okay, that's a bit deceiving. But the TGE is when the token was created. Okay, that's what TGE represent. Token creation means that there's tokens available now to be distributed. Whether you provide liquidity on an exchange or not, that doesn't matter. TGE represents when the token was actually created. Okay, so traditionally, a token generation event. It's in the title. It has nothing to do with when it was brought to a centralized exchange or even decentralized. Okay, so that's something to consider. Okay, so the cliff period is the period of which the lock is basically defined as the lock time, the period of which the tokens are locked up. So if there is a 3-month cliff, after 3 months, the lock is done. Okay, so that's something to consider. Then you have the vesting schedule, or the unlock, or the emissions, whereas how many tokens based on time will be released to the market. Now, ideally, what we want to see is the amount of tokens be released after the cliff to be really slow and steady, which you want some sort of emissions that is nice, and it could be linear, whatever the case is, but it's got to be slowly and steady, because if you release too many tokens to the market all at once, what happens is the current holders are going to see a dilution of their value, right? Because there's going to be an oversupply. There's going to be a bunch of tokens hitting the market, increasing the supply, and there's likely to be individuals that are going to sell off. And putting sell pressure on tokens means that the current token holders are going to be quite salty about that scenario. So we got to understand that a linear vesting, or the linear vesting periods that they have here, is actually necessary. So let's go through the distribution categories first. You have the seed round, the private round. Okay, the pre-public round, whatever that means, right? This is starting to get, ambiguous and a little bit like unnecessary. Why do you need to have so many levels and rounds and so on? Keep it simple. Strategic round, Okay, fine, another round. Public round. Now they got the public round, which is probably the most important one because this includes the retail investor. And as you can see, we can see the percentages, and we'll go through that in a second. We have the calls again, the people that get involved early, and the team. The team is also involved early. The advisors, early people that are in it in the beginning. Marketing, okay, that should be governed by the DAO. That should be part of the DAO and how that's being distributed. But again, in this scenario where you have a lot of the tokens potentially being sent out early after 3 months to early investors, right? They're going to have a lot of say in the DAO. That's the reality. And only the public only gets 3.3% of the tokens, and the 15% at TGE. I get it. And then a 1 month cliff, and then a 6 month linear vesting. So the reality is that the public in the early stages are not going to have a lot of vote, right? The ones that are going to have a vote is the private, the seed, and the pre-public, which is, what does that even mean? That is the private, or it's like early investor as well, regardless, right? It's not the general public. And then the calls, of course, very little. Then you have the team that has a whole bunch of them, but they're 12-month cliff, so a year cliff, fine. And this project is fairly new, so we got to understand that it's still early. The advisors, 2% marketing, 10%, 2 month cliff. That's good because at least you can get starting to spend some money on marketing, which is important. Liquidity for state and staking. So liquidity for getting listed on exchanges and strategic ecosystem. This is important for me. This I like to see this. In fact, the fact that I see 24% here is really good. With the 3 month cliff means that they're able to invest in their devs and their ecosystem growth. So if you recall what I said about in the beginning about ecosystem growth, it translates to high value token, because if the ecosystem is good, you get more utility because of the amount of projects being built and what the token could be used for. And if there's a lot of use case for the token, there's demand, and if there's demand, usually you get an increase in price, right? And because of the deflationary aspect of things, that there's going to be tokens being burnt for every transaction or every use of an AI model, let's say. The bigger the ecosystem, the more AI models, the more customers, the more burning. And, there's that cycle, there's that pressure to make the tokenomics a lot better, right? Given that, as you can see, a good portion of them are in the hands of the early investors, right? So this is something to consider. Okay, AITECH tokenomic breakdown. I'm curious. Oh, let's open this up in a new tab. Let's keep on going now. Monetary policies. I feel like this, I'm not sure what the difference is between the gray and the purple, but I don't think it matters too much. I see that this is just a pie chart of what we just discussed. So a nice visual representation of a total supply of 2 billion, which is quite a bit, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we want to see other aspects of this. Now you can see that the 1st of January 2024, and the launch date is August in 2023. Let's see, August 2023, 28. Yeah, so we're fine. So all good. So in August, that's when it was created. That's the launch date. And this is, I guess, this is the schedule. This is the release schedule. As you can see, a lot of tokens hit the market. Right around here, this is when things taper off. After about 2 years, I guess, in 2025, this is where things kind of taper off as far as the amount of tokens get released. So from this date to about, the mid-2025, expect a lot of tokens to be entering the market. You're going to have that sell pressure. You're going to have the dilution pressure. And at least it's a linear vesting schedule, so it's be little by little, but it is going to be there. After that, things kind of stabilize, right? But after the stabilization, the risk is not there, and if there's no risk, the reward is less. So what you have to really understand is that to get in this stage is riskier. We get it because it's still new, but the reward could be a lot higher, because once we reach this level, right, things start to stabilize, but also does the risk and also does the reward. So we have to understand that if you think that this project is fundamentally good, getting in at these levels on pullbacks and on retracements on red days where the opportunity is there, you could be buying in despite the unlocks, especially in a bull run where demand outperforms supply right? That's what defines the bull run. Demand outperforming supply. It doesn't matter of amount of the tokens that hit the market. People will be buying them up because of the demand outperforming the supply. So what we have to do is understand where we are in this market, number one, and number two, understand, you know, what's the sentiment right now. If we are in a bull market and this and we think, and the conviction is that we're going up, the sentiment should be to buy the dip and be preparing for the demand that's going to be coming in. But guess what, guys? If you plan on holding this project throughout the bear market, the up and coming bear market after we hit the bull market top, guys, I wouldn't do that, because there's going to be a lot of individuals and a lot of profit that got in those early stages, again, right here, that are going to be looking for profit taking opportunities. And this is why we see young projects retrace over 80% to about 90% in a bear market. It's because of scenarios like this. So doesn't mean that it won't recover eventually. It just means that all these individuals are going to be looking for taking profit, okay, on the top of the bull run. That's the reality, okay? It's the reality. Let's keep on moving on. Circulating supply and unlock supply. There is something here that I really want to address that is quite deceiving. Understanding the concept is essential. Unlocks do not equal circulating supply. That is highly, highly deceiving, because it does. Okay, so we have to understand is that when tokens get unlocked by their traditional definition, okay, they get unlocked, that means that they're fair game to enter circulating supply. They're fair game to enter the market for trading. Okay, so if an individual gets their tokens unlocked and they decide to put them in a pool, that's a totally different story. But by definition, when a token gets unlocked, it is fair game for the individual that holds the token to trade them on the open market, and therefore it is circulating supply. We have to be clear about that. So I think what they're trying to do is play on the words. Understanding this concept is essential. Unlocks don't directly add to circulating supply. That is deceiving. I don't know what they don't directly. I don't know what that means. Maybe they're trying to say that the tokens go up in a liquidity pool of some sort for the DAO and this and that. You could have that option, but you could take them out and sell them, right? It's still there. It's still liquid, all right? And especially that they have so many exchanges to be liquid on. I don't see how this applies. The circulating supply is more accurate metric than total supply. Okay, sure. Again, guys, this right here is read into it. If you don't trust me, read into it, do your research, study, because it will help you really understand what they're trying to say here. And this is slightly deceiving. Okay, so be careful there. Accumulating inflation. Okay, fine. You can see that after the 2 years, like as I mentioned here, and this chart does it pretty good here. After about 2 years, the majority of the tokens are in circulation. So it could be that right around the top, the bull market top, we are going to see that a lot of tokens would have entered already, and we would have seen a lot of unlocks already, and there's a good chance that we might see the price fall, and that's totally fine, because it's normal, because really there's going to be a lot of profits to be taken given all this, and then a dip, and then we start to see stability going forward in the future, right? And that's basically where that's how all projects coming out of the gate. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now there are something to consider here, guys. This is a little bit the wording. I think the wording is probably the biggest issue on this document. Okay, we evaluate how projects allocate their token supply, determining whether the distribution is equitable. Okay, is especially crucial when projects plan to implement a governance model. I get it. Now look what they do here. They do all the different categories, and then they go in on saying they basically categorize them as insiders or public, foundation, community, or foundation. Look at what they are able to do here is essentially say what I always say. Look at the early investors. They're all early stakeholders, also known as insiders. Seed round, private round, pre-public round, strategic round. These are all insiders, people that got an edge into this token early on. So what I'm going to say here is, before I continue going forward, is that at least what they're doing is being very transparent about this token distribution, that clearly a lot of the tokens are for the insiders of the team. Do you take that as you please. Feel free to, scrutinize this vocabulary, but it's definitely, it sounds black and white to me. Public round, fine. This is where we start to get very, for the public, people like you and I, regular individuals that want to buy some tokens. Remember, we talked about that. That's only represents 3.4% of the tokens. Okay, we'll look at this pie chart in a second, but you can see it with your side eye that it's kind of weird here, guys. We have the Coles insiders, team insider, advisor insider, marketing foundation. So that's the DAO, liquidity and staking community. Okay, that's good because we can say that's part of the public domain, in the sense that the liquidity and staking, that's basically providing that liquidity for the public to buy and sell and feel comfortable that they can sell and buy the token on an open exchange. That's great. We need liquidity. That's fine. Strategic ecosystem, again, part of the public, but still very clearly foundational, because that's how they're going to support the ecosystem. And I appreciate that significantly. It's about 34% of it. But guys, you can't deny the fact that the insiders currently are going to run through about 50.6% of the tokens, and the foundation is still going to have 34% of them, given the fact that the foundation is new and this project is young. The amount of tokens that are allocated to the insiders is significant, and in fact, they are going to be in control of the foundation. So there's a bit of an issue here. I would say the foundation currently is skewed. The foundation funds are skewed towards the control of the insiders. So a good portion of that is kind of, needs to be allocated to this side of the pie chart. And given that they already represent 50%, it's a lot. And if you look at what's happening really here, the community and the public sale represents very little. Very, very little. Now, I'm also wondering, how is the community tokens being allocated? Is it also part of the foundation or part of the DAO? Like if they see like an ecosystem opportunity or, anything strategic as part of and to deploy capital, do they run it to the foundation, or is it the team that makes the decision, right? That still represents 34% of the tokens, which is quite a bit. So I'm not really liking the token distribution, to be honest, guys. At least if we're honest about it. Look, you can't get any more honesty than this. Let's move on. So they get into a little bit more detail. Feel free to check it out. The token distribution fairness is crucial. Safeguarding against centralization risk. I don't know how this represents decentralization. I'm really lost with the communication here. Concentration of tokens. I can't see how this is not concentrated. Is the hand of the insider or the foundation members can create imbalances, leading to potential governance and decision-making challenges. Guys, they're basically saying that they're being upfront about the negative. I don't understand. I'm very confused here. Very, very confused. Token sale and investors. Okay, hard cap, this is all cool stuff, but really a return on investment on launch. But who's getting the return on the investment? It's not the retail market, it's not the public, it's everybody else. A fully diluted valuation, okay, fine, and disclaimer and so on. Guys, feel free to get into this in a little bit more detail, of course. Obviously, we're trying to get into the major aspects here to kind of get ourselves fundamentally bullish, and so far I'm a bit out there, guys. I'm a bit out there with these tokenomics, kind of bother me. All right, so let's get back to the main website. I think we kind of deviated a little bit from the website. We got into our little rabbit hole for a good little while. Again, let's look at the partners. We got some the team. Let's go back into the team to talk about the team a little bit. We got Paul and we got Adrian. Those are the founders, and then we got advisors that are, whoa, hold on, guys. I know the website kind of flops around a little bit. We got teams, a lot of technical advisors, a lot of good people here. Chief marketing, chief research and development, technical advisor. Okay, it looks like a good team. But what I did do is I went on LinkedIn accounts. Okay, and I like to do that once in a while just to get an idea of what the team is all about, particularly the founders. So let's take a look at Paul here for a second. Paul is the founder and CEO. Okay, which is cool. UK operations, and you can see I go straight to the experience. You can see that he has a full-time here in the founder of Solidus, founder of Fari Fine Arts, and he's also full-time. So he's, his resources are split. I guess, between both companies. I guess we could conclude that. And then he's also a strategic advisor at Solidus Technologies UK, which you know, he has 3 full-time occupations currently, which means that out of, you know, his available resources, him as a human resource, you're splitting it up 3 ways. Now, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it something that we need to be skeptical about? Guys, I don't know. I really like to see when teams, especially founders and so on, are focused and dedicated on their project and not on other businesses, especially non-related businesses. They kind of leave me a little bit skeptical here, okay? Because they have options, they have alternatives. Are they fully invested? And not to say that they're not, but from what I see here, for face value, you know, I'm not sure about this. Okay, now this company right here is IT service and IT consulting, and they have other aspects of AI integrated, so some experience there, which is good. GPU, a little bit of a supportive thing. Hardware consumes 30% less power consumption, so I can see that their infrastructure. The individual here, Paul, is infrastructure based. He's very aware of infrastructure, and I can see how he found it valuable to create their own centralized infrastructure, given the fact that he might be an individual that has done it in the past and has created those type of infrastructures through you know, Solidus Technologies and from his own experience. Okay, and that ends that. Like, there's no more experience, which I would have liked to see a little bit more. Maybe some education, maybe something like that would have been great. Not to say that he doesn't have any or anything, but if we don't know about it, it's very hard for us to make those decisions. Okay, who else do we got here? We have Adrian. Let's see who we have here. Adrian, let's see. So Adrian is the if we go down, he doesn't even have Solidus on his experience list, which I don't know why. Or maybe he doesn't see the need to update it. It could be the case, but founder of Soft Galaxy, so you can see he's involved in Soft Galaxy to present, president of the board of I don't know, some other place, president and present here. He's everywhere. He's got everywhere. He's split so many ways that I don't know what to say. Victoria's Secret, okay, all kinds of different things. Look, when I see commitments, various commitments, so many commitments, I start to question what is the commitment at the current project. Like, he's only one person. How many commitments could he really have? Plus, he's a person, he's an individual. I'm assuming he has family. I'm assuming he has a personal life. You know, he's got to be, he must be basically overworked. Okay, so I don't know what's going on there. I trust the fact that his intentions are good, but like, guys, from a human resource perspective, how much resources could he be placing? Now, if you start looking into those are the 2 founders. Let's go back to the team. I don't know what happened in here. Okay, those are the 2 founders. Whoa, let's go back. Sorry, guys. The website's a bit bouncy. And then I started to look for the tech. I'm like, okay, who's involved in tech? A full stack developer is the only individual here that I could really see that could have the blockchain experience that might be necessary here as a blockchain company, right? At the end of the day, that's what they want to do. They want to decentralize and use a token. It seems like maybe decentralization is not their main objective, but the tokenization of aspect of things. Maybe John Mendes is the dude here, the individual that basically is going to be running that. It could be others, but I couldn't really make sense of it. We have Chief Technology Officer, maybe this individual, sure, strategic officer, so on. And maybe we can open up this in a new tab. Maybe we can't. Blockchain, artificial intelligence, good stuff here, no doubt. We can get into the LinkedIn account. Let's see if we can get that going. And in the meantime, let's see what's going on with John Mendes. John Mendes, a full stack developer at Solidus. Okay, full stack development. We need those talented individuals, of course. Present 4 months in with the company, artificial intelligence and data consultant. So a little bit of experience there. 4 months of experience, and then web developer on contract, and then part-time. So seems to be very fresh experience, very fresh, and maybe potentially a lot to offer, being young and ready to go. Now, Catalin, a professor, habilitation at university. Okay, we got a professor in the house. That's pretty good. Solidus AI Tech, which is good. Let's see, education, experience, no Solidus. You know what I mean? So we're in a bit of an issue here where they're not even identifying as being part of the team here. Just up here, I do see it. Okay, fine. But as far as their experience and their involvement and what they do, I don't see it here. I see a few posts, which are great. And chief officer, oh, here, right here, Solidus AI Tech. So they got present. He's involved here in the computer interface. I didn't see the logo here. That's why, guys. But he's definitely has a full-time, present, full-time, and present. So he's a little bit of, he's a professor as well. So he's got his hands full. He's got a lot going on. But I would say that he is the lead here as far as the blockchain development and from the tech stack perspective, which seems to be a very capable, knowledgeable individual. Okay, so at the University of Bucharest, pretty good stuff there. Not bad. So the team is okay. I just I'm worried about the founders and the leadership of the founders, that they're spread too thin. They got a lot on their plate, and maybe a bit of scaling it down and getting focused might be useful. I'm not sure here, guys, but that's what I got from the deep dive into the team. All right, let's go back. What else do we got here? Let's go back. Let's see if we can get back to the main website by clicking this head and going back there. Let's see, we covered quite a bit today, guys. We did. Let's take a look at CoinGecko, see what's going on here. We do have the market cap right now is at about $90 million market cap, so it's very, very small, still fully diluted. I feel that it's very high, $276 million and fully diluted. Given the market cap, it's a little bit, there's a bit of a variance there. There's a bit of a spread. I'm not really crazy about that. Trading volume, okay, circulating supply, and total supply. So circulating supply 650 million, total supply and max supply is $2 billion pretty much. Okay, so we're doing okay there. Focus on the max supply in the sense that there's approximately 30% or so that are in circulation. So we need to basically understand that more tokens are going to enter circulation as the vesting schedule, as the emission schedule comes into play. And as I mentioned in the past, it's going to take about 2 years to see the majority of the tokens get into circulation. So keep that in mind. All good stuff there. Guys, you know that I do release a infographic for you guys, and I'm going to post that all over the social so you can get access to this. This is my overall conclusion. This is my overall verdict. If you look at the ecosystem, there's a lot to be said there. The ecosystem's solid. Okay, there's a lot happening there with AI as far as artificial intelligence marketplace, HPC service provider, governance and enterprise blockchain solutions, AI services providers, and DAO governance. A lot happening here within the ecosystem. Just understand that it's a very it's backed by a centralized infrastructure. Okay, if that's okay with you, then this is the project for you. Utility, medium of exchange, participating in staking and farming activities, voting rights, a lot of good stuff here. Acquire and utilizing high performance computing power. So again, the marketplace, being able to get access to it and using the token to get access to it. Burning program yet to be determined. Those details need to come out. Let's look at this in more detail. The roadmap needs a little bit more details. The framework as far as time frames would be really good, and the roadmap on the website doesn't work. So from that case, like, you know, it's not a good thing. It's not a good look. You know, the retail market needs clarity, as much clarity as possible. So roadmap needs a little bit more of that detail if the team wants to give us that sense of transparency. The team, no team member, which is clear blockchain background, although the university professor does have some, I see it there, but very the talent is spread very thin across multiple organizations, including him being a professor. So there's a bit of an issue there. Who's spearheading the tech in that? Founders have full-time roles in other companies and other obligations. Clear evidence that the team is an AI and has tech experience. Very clear. But again, it seems like all that talent is being diluted by all those other obligations, which is concerning to me. And this is why I say 7 out of 10. Socials, which are okay. You know, they have not bad. We're basically looking at 400,000 X followers, which is pretty decent given its size, right? The followers are down in the last little while, in the last 13 days. But this is according to the market, of course. Market conditions, and currently everything is coming down slightly. We're seeing a lot of negativity, but still 144, 25% dip in followers is not a good look in comparison to the previous 30 days. What I do like is the fact that they're stepping up their game. They're posting, they're getting active. So at least their posts are up 50%, which is good, right? This is good. So at least that they realize that they need to put some, fuel on the fire here, and try to maintain their social network and their social presence, and at least they're putting that effort there. So from that perspective, that's good. I went on their Discord and their Telegram. Their Discord could use a little bit more engagement, but their Telegram was definitely active, and so on and so forth. So good stuff there. 9 out of 10. Tokenomics has a bit of an issue, guys. You guys, it's like the insiders get way too many tokens. It's a total of about 50% of the tokens, and then the foundation, which again holds 34%. But the foundation is governed by the DAO, which the DAO basically is governed by token holders. And if the insiders hold the majority of the tokens, who really governs the DAO? And then who really governs the 34%? It's the insiders. So really, I'm really not really feeling the tokenomics at the current moment. And understand that the public only gets 3.4% of all the tokens, and the community basically for the liquidity and all of that, it's about 12%, which is important. But the tokenomics, in my opinion, right now is not very fair launch. It's not very digestible, right? I'm not crazy about it. Partnerships, too many logos, guys. I'm gonna have to start punishing teams that really put all those logos and just try to confuse, and not try, but they do confuse a lot of individuals as trying to figure out what is actually important here. Stop crying wolf and start giving us all kinds of logos that don't really apply. We need quality. We need to really focus. These are the individuals that we're strategically partnering it with for these reasons. And these are the reasons why they provide value to the organization. That's what we want to know. We don't, okay, you want to list the exchanges you're listed on? Sure, they're not your partners. You want to give us the launch pads that you've been on? Fine, but they're not your partners. Let's talk about partners that are coming in. You guys are working together to smash things out and scaffold each other to the next level. How are you going to benefit off this partnership? And if it's valuable, then make us known. Make it known, make it clickable, make something pop out, make it a blog post, make it clear, because we don't want to dig through all those logos that make things very ambiguous. Okay, so 5 out of 10 there. That's not cool. Exchanges, lots of exchanges. We're just missing top tier. That's it. Binance and Coinbase. The rest pretty much got you covered. You got all kinds of different exchanges, small ones to mid ones to pretty big ones, like we're talking about Mexi. You got KuCoin. Those are the pretty big ones that I can see here, and some up and coming ones like Bitmart has been hanging around for a while, and you got DEXs as well, of course, Pancake Swaps, based on the fact that it's a BNB token. So pretty good. 8 out of 10. What only would take it 10 out of 10 is getting listed on Binance and Coinbase, and it could be happening in the future. And if it does happen, expect a pump in the price. Okay, so let's move on here. Let's take a look at some of this, guys. Some of these numbers could be slightly outdated given the fact that there's volatility in the market. I get it, may not be right around this price, but give or take. We talked about the market cap. We talked about all these little details. I like the trading volume represents 13.25% of the current market cap, which means that we're getting that significant amount of volume. I like volume. We like volatility. We want to see an active ecosystem. We don't want it dead in the water where there's no buying and selling. If we can see buying and selling, that means there's liquidity. That means there's individuals, market participation. These are all good aspects in a very solid and a good team project, a project that is there and very active. Okay, so really good stuff there. What else do we got here? My final verdict. Let's move on to this side. This side here is going to give you a few more little details. Obviously, it's a BEP20 token, a BNB token, part of the AI narrative, launchpad narrative, and so on, that type of thing. Launch date of AITECH is 28th of August. Token distribution is heavily weighted for the insiders. We've got to make sure we emphasize that. There are cliffs in linear vesting in order to prevent dilution, which is good. This is something that we want to make sure is there, especially when you're seeing tokenomics, a tokenomics that is, heavily scaled towards early investors. We want to make sure those early investors don't have the opportunity to dump on the market. Nonetheless, guys, I wouldn't be thinking about holding through a bear market. Okay, if you're buying in, take profit. Once you see the top of the bull run, once you see the frothiness, take a bit of profit. because altcoins and new projects that are built this way retrace significantly, and it happens to all. The best of the projects retrace. Look at the previous bear markets, and history usually repeats itself, so think about that. Majority of the tokens enter circulations after 20 months from TGE, which is at about 2 years. At 2-year date, you're going to see a lot of the tokens, I think around 85% or a little bit higher, are going to be entering the market. So expect then that you're going to expect the volatility to kind of taper off a little bit, and that whole volatility based on dilution and all of that is going to probably simmer away, which is good. The infrastructure is centralized. Okay, this is something that kind of bothers me personally, right? Service and physical space. Everything about it is centralized. It's infrastructure in the back end. Now, the DAO implementation is a good idea. I get it. Maybe they're going to be, decentralize its over operation in that centralized, infrastructure through the DAO, but guys, it doesn't matter. The DAO is not going to cure the fact that it's centralized. As you can see, the white paper made it very clear that they're taking very traditional Web 2 measures to make the infrastructure, let's say, sustainable or trustworthy. We want to decentralize so that we can put trust in the decentralization rather than the traditional centralization aspect of things. Internal ecosystem is in development, external ecosystem to come, which is good. We're still early here, guys. Fully doxed teams with LinkedIn links, which is good. I don't see that very often, but that's really good that they're transparent and open about who they are and what they're trying to achieve. And given the fact that their token distribution is also very centralized to early investors, they need to be doxed, or else nobody would buy this, right? At least we can get an idea of who they are and where all these tokens are going. Discord is not very active, but the Telegram is, which is good. It's pretty active there. Website is complicated, guys, and distracting, and some of it doesn't even work. So we have to understand here is that there's limitations when you try to overdo things. And I feel like the website, although it looks great as far as aesthetics, the effort put in, simple. I would redo that whole website and make it so simple and clearly put everything you need for all the retail investors to come in there very easily and clearly get all the info they need to do these deep dives and get fundamentally bullish. And we can see that the overall price target, if you compare it to Render, of course Render's a beast nowadays, right? Its market cap is large. It would hit $4. I think that's a very 31x is a very possible thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be done in this bear market, in this bull market. It could be in a different cycle, but nonetheless, if this project holds up and does what it needs to do to be bullish, to hit its target, it could definitely hit the a 31x, a 30x, maybe about a $4 mark. And overall, I give it an 8 out of 10 ranking. All right, guys, so that's my verdict. Overall, decent project. I give it an 8 out of 10. I think there are some aspects that could be improved to give the retail market a bit of strength, a bit of conviction. Overall, it seems decent, part of a decent narrative. It should have a great future. And if the team can kind of fix up a couple of these things, I think it would give it a better, better prospect for the future going forward. Guys, let's take a look at some of the price action. I know you're here to talk about charts as well, so let's do it. Let's see what's going on with the price, because ultimately the price could give us an indication of what to expect for the future. So let's get right into it. Now, all of a sudden, we see that the market has been retracing, and we see that obviously based on Bitcoin's price action, a lot of these altcoins are coming down to lower levels. But the question is Solidus AI Tech at a good level of horizontal support? Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. We can see that the price action did retrace significantly here. We are critical levels in the sense that we're coming down to previous price action that should hold as horizontal support. I did emphasize this horizontal here as an important zone. Based on the previous price action, this bull flag has a lot of emotional individuals in here. And you can see that based on my yellow box that I put in, a while back ago on the live streams, we covered this project and we noticed that, the 200 daily was there, potentially going to act as support or some sort of level of reaction. And that this level, based on the top of the volume gap as well, because we do have a weak spot below, could also be a level of horizontal support. And it's not surprising to me to see the price action kind of consolidate within this level to ultimately see if we hold a bottom, if we create a nice pivot right at this level. And I'm still really interested in seeing how this kind of plays out, because We did see a bit of a fake out here. We did go sideways within a bear flag type of scenario. We got that impulsive move. We got that sideways price action, and we're getting another impulsive move to the downside. Now, we could definitely come down from one more leg and to see if we break below the horizontal at about $12 cents and fall through the volume gap, hitting about 7 cents is all very viable. Just keep in mind, volume gaps are defined by the volume profile having no supply and demand in between. Look at the green candles. Green to the upside means straight up with no consolidations in between to act as support. So what that really means is that if it breaks below the horizontal right here, we can fly to bottom levels. Now, that's what I would be prepared for. Currently at this price, it's not a bad time to start scaling in, but it's all about position size. I wouldn't be getting into big position sizes. I would be slowly scaling in right around this level. A good zone, of course, would be right here where we are right now, maybe get in with 10%. If we do come down to lower levels, you can scale in another little 10%. If we do come down and break through here, scale in another 10%. If we form structure, that's when you start deploying the rest. Structural support is what we need, because as of now, you're seeing the price make lower lows and lower highs consistently. We did not change the character of the structure. We need a change of character where we start to see at least a higher high or a higher low. In any of these impulses, we want to see bullish divergence. We want to see that the momentum is showing that the bears are exhausted. At the current moment, we're not necessarily seeing that. We're seeing a bit of relief to the upside, no doubt, but no bullish divergence in the momentum. We're seeing the volatility push up, no doubt, but the expansion is still pushing down. We're seeing the momentum looking like it's getting a bit of relief to the upside based on the 4-hour, but the daily is still showing us a lot of signal that we could get oversold in a bigger way. We haven't fell through the 30% mark, getting us into a really oversold condition. Now, the argument from a bull would be, don't expect oversold conditions in a bull rally, but really, are we in a full-fledged bull rally in the sense that, are we going parabolic yet? We could still get deep retracements. We could still get 886, 786, 886 retracements, which could be around the corner, and we're already seeing some of those altcoins come down to bear market bottoms. So we have to be very, very real with what's possible here. The reality is the momentum is not showing us at the current moment that we're done dipping. So getting in with heavy position sizes means that you're running the risk of running out of capital to buy dips at lower level to accumulate or DCA and drag your average cost down as the price also comes down. If you look at the momentum right now is looking okay, because it could be looking for an EMA cross to the upside and maybe a green histogram up, and slowly we're trending to the upside, as can be seen. However, guys, if we do not cross the EMA and we do not get the green candle, it's very possible that this just becomes a fake out. Very similar to what happened here. We get very, very close, sorry, and it continues coming down, and usually it opens up again. The EMAs open out and we see a continuation to the downside based on the red candles or the red histogram bars, right? So just be aware that fake outs do happen, especially at critical levels, and especially as we saw this big expansion form. It means that these divergences that we've been having in the past, as we were making lower lows and slowly trending to the upside, you can see this thing invalidated a lot of these the bullish divergence in here, because it made lower lows and it broke below this low, right? So the reality is maybe this little dip might get another little dip, and we could be able to buy at slightly lower levels. So price action, momentum, and trend is suggesting, yeah, maybe we're a bit early to get into big positions here, but from a DCA, slow and steady accumulation perspective, guys, you're not buying tops. The reality is you're not buying tops. You're buying a decent retracement. This was the top, and if you look at what's really happening here, your retracement, if you use Fibonacci, no problem. Let's use Fibonacci from the bottom to the top to where we're right now. We're at a 786, guys. 786, 886 is confluent here. Look how much confluence we're getting via Fibonacci and a volume profile. 786, 886 is right here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Look at that. 886 is right here. And this is the bottom of the volume gap. Very confluent. Okay, very confluent. 786 is right here. This is the top of the volume gap. Very confluent. Okay, so this is good stuff. Then all of a sudden we start looking at golden pocket zone, where we hesitated for that sideways price action for a little while. People thought that maybe that might have been the reversal point, and everything below the golden pocket is usually a great retracement, an opportunity to start taking risk. If you take risk at the golden pocket, the 786 and the 886, usually within these three levels, you should be able to catch eventually that bottom. And if you double down and triple down and you scale in harder as it comes down, really what you're doing is you're dragging your average cost a lot lower. The good thing is that if you have been on the sidelines up until now following this TA, you would have noticed that right now wouldn't be a bad idea to get in with a bit of position to anticipate an accumulation and a continuation to the upside. We're getting a bit of volume here, but it could be accumulated with some of the price action looking left, and the volume is increasing nice and slowly. So be careful here, guys, because it could be that the bottom is in and we're slowly going to be producing a structure. The structure that would get me bullish here is an inverse head and shoulders, an Adam and Eve's, a cup and handle, a W formation, any one of those type of formations right into here. But ultimately, a nice bullish divergence would be great to suggest that the bears are showing weakness and that the bulls want to come into play and start, retracing right back to the upside and perhaps getting into price discovery. And that's where the magic happens. Buying in when people are fearful, when uncertain and very doubtful, is where you get the opportunities to scale in on the cheap on these fire sales. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor, slap the like button. You can follow me on the socials. The links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Join me live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.